I mean, part of it is Iraq's history, and part of it's just something in the culture that is very much in tune and in touch with suffering. And, you know, certainly the Shia experience and the sort of Shia culture has a tendency to sort of dwell in pain a lot, and it's kind of in the sort of retelling of the story of Hussein and Hassan and Abbas, and this sort of, you know, what ended up being the split between Sunni and Shia. Although when you talk to Iraqis, especially, it's harder now because sectarianism is so strong, but when I remember talking to my relatives before, and I'd ask them, like, because they have these regular rituals where it's like everybody ends up, it's like a group mourning, and everybody's weeping. And I asked them, like, is this just, are you really crying for what happened 1,300 years ago, or 1,400 years ago? Or is this something more personal? And I said, no, it's definitely personal. Like, it's a way of kind of releasing whatever pain it's, you know, whether it's losing one's child or losing, you know, it could be anything, but it's sort of a conduit or a way of, so there's a direct relationship that people have with pain and suffering, and when you listen to these rituals, it's, even if you don't, I've seen people who don't understand the words burst into tears just because it's so powerfully emotional. That's sort of a particular ritual, but it exists, it kind of finds itself into the Maqam as well. Maqam is a little bit more formalized and structured in the sense, but it keeps some of that emotional content strong. And I think, I don't know, and for me, like, I've always loved blues music, I've always loved music that kind of is in touch with that, with suffering. And I don't know, I hope I'm not dwelling too much in pain, but it's something that I find, but it's sort of through that you kind of reach a very deep spiritual place, and that's kind of what ultimately is the most kind of gratifying. And I find that in Iraqi Maqam it's much more accessible and connected in that way.